Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. And you guys are lucky. We have 2 OU interviews in 1 week with Danny Stutzman earlier in the week, and then we have Tawee Walker on today. Hey, how are you doing, Tawee?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm just glad that I'm in the air conditioning and not having to survive this 105-degree heat.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So for those of you who do not know who Tawee is, he is the incoming JUCO running back that we have this year from Palomar College. And he is going to play a crucial role in this running back room as we lost Kennedy Brooks this offseason. And it looks like we only have Eric Gray as one of the returning starters this year. So, Tawee, just kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where'd you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your family.
So I'm from North Las Vegas, Nevada. Uh, then I transferred to a school in Arizona called Centennial in Arizona, Peoria, Arizona, my senior year. And then I ended up taking 2 years off of football and enrolling to JUCO in California and did what I was supposed to do there and ended up here. And I got two brothers. I played JUCO with my oldest brother at Palomar, and now he's at a D2 in Kingsville, Texas, playing linebacker. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and let's run through some of your stats real quick from your time at Palomar, which is it looked like I got 21 in 2022. You played 11 games. You rushed 187 times for 875 yards, 79.5 yards per game, 8 touchdowns, 52 yards was your longest run. So those are some pretty nice stats, and that's gonna bring if you can replicate that exact same production here at OU. I have no doubt in my mind we're gonna be pretty good this year between you and Eric Gray. I mean, I know we got some good freshmen back there too, but Brent likes to let the if you have any idea on Brent, he usually likes to let the freshmen sit back and learn a little bit their first year. So I wouldn't expect to see too much from them unless they're just phenomenal. But give us a little bit of insight. What's your biggest motivation, right?
For me personally, my biggest motivation. I have a son, so he's my biggest motivation. He just turned 1 June, so he's my biggest motivation at the moment.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about your son.
His name's Kingston. He's just now starting to walk and trying to talk a little bit. So I had him when I was 20, 20 years old, 21 now. It's just been a blessing. He's a wonderful kid. I can't wait to see what he does when he grows up. He'll be at all the games.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've always said having a child is probably one of the greatest things that we can ever do because you're getting to be a part of creation itself.
most definitely.
And that's to just think about that. So like think I get to be a part of that. I get to have that kind of power. Like that's just truly incredible. So
Most definitely.
that's awesome. It's something I can't wait to do. I can't wait to have kids. So
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. It makes you happier for sure.
yeah, definitely gives you something to wake up for and work for every day.
Oh yeah, definitely can be the best motivation you ever have. That's definitely it.
Yeah. So tell us, outside of your kid, what are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football?
I like to play the game. I got an Xbox. I like to play Madden, 2K, Fortnite, Warzone. I like to play video games. That's all I really do. A shop. I like to shop too. Uh,
Yeah, no,
and
I
then,
get that. I love video games too. I have the Nintendo Switch, I have the PS4. About to get the PS5 and probably an Xbox this year for Modern Warfare 2. But
yeah, you need to switch to Xbox.
yeah,
PlayStation can't mess with
that's
the
where
PlayStation.
everybody's at. Yeah, everybody's on the Xbox. What's your favorite NFL team? So you like to play Madden, so I'm assuming you have a go-to team in Madden.
Honestly, I play a thing. It's called Ultimate Team. Like you draft your own. Like you get people from every team on there. So now, like I'm getting to the point where like I'm trying to be in the NFL. I really don't got a favorite team anymore. But
Yeah.
my favorite team growing up was the Minnesota Vikings because Vegas didn't have a team at the time. we just got the Raiders, so I'm starting to like the Raiders too. But other than that, I like the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe the Raiders will hear this and they'll put you on a target list. Maybe I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know if anybody from the Raiders watches. So,
but they
but
should do good this year. They did a good job on off season, so they should have a good team this year.
that division is so stacked. I'm a
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know how if we're going to go very far this year because the
They got
Broncos are really good.
the off season was crazy this year.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
The Chargers and the Broncos, I think, were probably in the NFL the two teams that probably upgraded the most because that Chargers defense now is going to be legit.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be something scary this year.
Yeah. So, well, let's get a little bit into your recruitment. So, your recruitment's maybe a little different than anybody else that we've had on the podcast, right? So,
Right.
how what was it like in your recruitment, and how did you pick the JUCO school over wherever else you went?
So with me, like when I took 2 years off out of high school, like I was like the number one back in Nevada. Transferred to Arizona was like the number two back in Arizona. But I was only got like little schools like FCS offers, and to me, I was like, I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to start my life, so I started like working and stuff. And then my father, like he always told me, like, cause he loves me playing football. Like he always told me, like, he don't want me to have no regrets growing up and stuff. So like he kind of got me back into it. And Ramondre Stevenson, he did the same thing I did. He got in my ear and told me to go JUCO. Did that and ended up here. Like it just was a thing. Like I just had to. They motivated me to get back on the field, so I did what I had to do. And a coach in Las Vegas was real cool with a coach at that school, so he just put me on it there, and then that's how that happened.
Yeah, so give people a little insight. What is the difference between a junior college versus like an FCS or a Division One school?
Okay, so junior college is like it's it's kind of like a second chance, basically. Like it's a second chance, so it's gritty. Like it's super tough, and you have to have a lot of heart to play JUCO football because you're not getting the love you're getting at a D1, and you're not getting the supplies. Like we didn't even have a weight room. We lifted weights outside on the tennis court. We didn't have a field. We had to go play our games at a high school field. We practiced at a grass field at our school and play games at a high school field. It just builds the dog, and you like all JUCO players to me got a little more dog in them because it's just like you don't get nothing. Like when I came to OU, I got my eyes were wide open for like a week straight, looking at everything like that we had, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, and there are some pretty famous people that were JUCO players.
Oh yeah, most
Probably
definitely.
one of the most recent ones being Cam Newton. So and I think Perion Winfrey, who was recently here at OU, was a JUCO player. So
Ramondre was too.
yeah, Ramondre
Yeah.
was too, and I don't know. I was trying to look it up on Google earlier. Wasn't I was seeing stuff like Aaron Rodgers and OJ Simpson were JUCO players. I don't know if that's true or not, but you guys,
I know. I want to say Josh. No, Aaron Rodgers was. I'm pretty sure was a Cali JUCO guy.
okay,
And then I want to say another one, a quarterback right now. Like I think Josh Allen was a JUCO guy. I know Tyreek
yeah,
Hill was a JUCO guy. Uh, who else? Hollywood Brown was a JUCO guy.
okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's a lot.
We loved Hollywood.
Yeah, he was a JUCO guy.
Yeah. So, what was it like being recruited by DeMarco Murray to come to the University of Oklahoma? So, we just recently had Dalen Smothers commit, and one of the big things that I put out there was it is huge to have a superstar NFL running back recruiting for you in that running back room. So, what was that like having DeMarco Murray pick up the phone and say, "Hey, do you want to come play for the University of Oklahoma?"
Right. He's from my city, so it was even bigger for me. But it was like really a last minute thing. Like because I came in the middle of the spring, so like they was already practicing. I came literally in the middle of spring ball, and I was being impatient, like, because JUCO usually don't get recruited to your second year, like your big offers to your second year, and I left the after the first semester, so like I was only getting like Montana State, uh, San Diego State, UNLV, stuff like that, and he had called me and we talked like twice, and I just made my decision. Like it was just crazy to me because like that was the biggest school I talked to at that point, and he was just so honest and upfront with me, and I just made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, with OU being a top 5 program ever, when they pick up
Yeah.
the phone and they say we want you, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty easy decision of like, yeah, I'm going to take that opportunity.
Especially when
So
it's a man like DeMarco Murray is definitely.
yeah, so what has it been like being on the team right now? What is it like being in the locker room? Right, are you learning a lot from guys like Marcus Major and Eric Gray? Eric Gray's been here a year. Marcus Major's been here a little bit longer. But what's what's it been like at your time here at Oklahoma?
Yeah, definitely learning a lot. Learning most from Eric because he's like super smart dude. Like to me, like at a JUCO, this is really like my first year learning everything. Like at my JUCO, I didn't learn like all like JUCO. You don't really learn a lot. Like you just out there playing, trying to get to the next level. Like so, we didn't learn too much. So I'm coming in like I'm fresh out of high school. I'm need to learn blitzes and pickups and stuff. And Eric Gray taught me a lot. He's a very smart dude, and great leader to be behind and play with.
Yeah, and I keep hearing that, right? Because last year we got Eric Gray from Tennessee, um, and I think a lot of OU fans were kind of down on the performance that we saw. Now, a lot of that was probably play calling. He just wasn't getting the right play calls, and I don't think they were utilizing him the correct way. And so, I recently had Parker Thune on the other day, and Parker Thune was talking really high about Eric Gray. So I know the fans are probably going to love to hear this about him,
Oh no,
and
yeah,
especially about him taking.
Eric Gray is a great. He's a great player, smart player, and a great player. You're gonna see a lot of things from him this year.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot to take away from him too. That you can learn from because he was a really highly recruited guy. I think he was recruited by like Alabama and Ole Miss and all
Yeah,
those types of schools. And I think even on 247 Sports, they were comparing him to like Kareem Hunt, saying he was going to be a second or third round draft pick is what they were projecting him to be. So,
yeah,
he's definitely going to be a good guy to learn from. But
yeah, for
so
sure.
yeah. So where do you like? What are your goals and expectations for yourself this year with the Sooners?
For me, it's just capitalize on every opportunity I get this year. I think I'll be in the mix quite a bit because I'm more of I would say, aggressive back that we have. So to me, it's just capitalize on every opportunity I get, really, because just you can't really like I don't really know what's gonna happen yet till it happens. So for me, I just got to sit back and just be ready, be prepared for anything that gets thrown my way.
Yeah, your biggest games are going to be Texas and OSU. Just go up
Oh yeah,
there,
for
just run
sure.
all over them, and
Yeah.
you'll just be an OU legend at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, if you've never watched or experienced an OU or OSU or Texas game, those games are incredible. Especially with the OSU game being in Norman this year, those get really rowdy. So
I know, like, and I haven't played no big like that spring game was the biggest crowd I ever played in, so it was crazy. I just know the season's gonna be crazy.
yeah, no, it's insane when you hear the bells, start ringing, and you guys are in the tunnel and you're walking through, and you hear the scene
Hmm.
setter, and then you walk out and you hear one side yelling Boomer and one side yelling Sooner, and it's 86,000 people in there. Like it's
Yeah,
awesome. It's awesome. So,
yeah,
yeah. So, you have any Smitty stories? Because everybody is really excited about Schmidty, and I
yeah.
know Braden Willis has been tweeting a lot about it. So come on, if you got any, just give them to
Me
us.
personally, like my only got I got bad ones from him. Like so, my first time, we came. It was early. Like it was early. So the my stuff wasn't in my locker. Like my clothes wasn't in my locker. So like I came to, and I was trying to wait for it to see if they was gonna bring it out before we had to be in the weight room. So like I went in the wait. So I was like a minute, literally like a minute late. I came in, tried to explain my story, he didn't say nothing to me. He's just pointing at the stairmaster. I'm like trying to explain to him. He's not saying nothing to me, not letting me talk. Just keep pointing at the stairmaster. Like if you late, he just make you go to the stairmaster. And after that, so boom, I went on stairmaster for 30 minutes. Had to walk the stairmaster, and then after that, he told me never be late again. He don't care what it is, and made me go with the next group and do the whole workout with them. That was the first time I knew he was like not playing no games with anybody. And the next time, it was I think I missed a time. I missed like a time by like a second on a run. He just he got on me like he ripped me apart, like put me to the side, whispered it to me, just crazy stuff, like ripped me apart, and it made me do the whole workout again with the next group. It's like he's just not playing with anybody this year. But I love it
Yeah,
though. Like that shows he cares and wants me to be the person he knows I can be.
yeah, no, Gabe Eichert and Teddy Lehman, they have a podcast called the Oklahoma Breakdown, which if you guys haven't listened to it, go check it out. And they talk about Schmidty all the time because, they grew up in prime Schmidty at OU. And
Yeah,
that was back when we didn't have that new South end zone. And
yeah.
you had to go run the bleachers. You had to go run
Yeah.
up and down the bleachers.
They when they bring players in to talk to us, they talk about me all the time. It's crazy, like, but as I can see, because he hard for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we've heard the don't be late to his workouts. It doesn't matter. Just don't be late.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about NIL, and this is
yeah,
something I like to ask everybody about. So, now you guys are able to get paid on your name, image, and likeness,
right,
and I think this is a pretty interesting deal because for me, I see it as an opportunity now for guys to potentially stay longer in college
right,
because if they're not maybe a second or third or first round draft pick, they can go, okay, I'm going to stay another year. I'm going to try to
right.
develop a little more and try to increase my draft stock because you guys are able to live now in college. You guys aren't going to be struggling now. Like you guys have the
Yeah,
opportunity to eat and make a car payment and live somewhere maybe a
yeah.
little bit nicer. So, what do you feel like NIL is just going to do in the recruiting scene? But then, like, do you have anything kind of in the works? Or are you working on NIL? Give us a little bit of insight to that.
Yeah, so I'm working on it right now, but like my name isn't too big right now because I'm just incoming. So like after this season, I should have pretty big ones. I have little ones right now, like Players Lounge. We just starting up. Yoke. I'm on Team Yoke right now. Those two, and I'm working on a local one in Vegas. We're trying like with a clothing brand. I'm trying to work out. Um, but after this season, this should be when I start popping and get bigger deals like car deals and such like that. And but I think it's a great thing for kids to stay, and because sometimes people don't even graduate college, they leave after 3 years because they want to try to go get some money. So that's better for even kids that want to graduate, stay here, have some money to feed their family and help their family out whatever they need and take care of themselves. So I think it's a great thing that NIL came apart of college football.
Yeah, and we saw that happen with baseball this year. A lot of players were getting drafted in MLB, and they're going to end up staying with
Yeah,
their desired colleges or transferring because they're making more money in college than they would in the MLB. So I do agree. It's a good thing for players. And one, you guys are getting to finish an education, right? It allows you guys to be able to finish an education, but be able to take care of yourselves and your family and all of that stuff, and just provide you an avenue to be able to go make more money in the future. And I know
right.
the NFL's got to like it because now they're getting more tenured players, people that are going to be, molded a little bit more for the NFL. So
Right.
I know you haven't been in Norman long, but if you could have an NIL deal with any food restaurant on campus, what would that be?
I would pro- I would probably have uh I would probably do my fault. Hold on, my son is what's up, dude? I would probably do yep. I would probably do I honestly the best place I had was Logie's, like the little bar. Logie's
Okay, yeah, I
place.
know what you're talking about.
That's they had the best food I had on campus, like the corner. They had like these
Yes.
nachos I had and a burger I had from there. The best thing I had in on campus. Chipotle is good too, of course, but I like Logie's though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Logie's is really good. It's definitely a campus corner hit on game day. So if there's anybody from Logie's watching this, hit Tawee up. Maybe give him his own nachos or something after his
Yeah, for
name or
sure.
something.
'Cause, yeah, they was. Yeah, that was like I had that like the first 3 days I was here. I had 3 days straight. I had Logie's.
Yeah. So as we start to wrap this up, I just got a couple more questions, and these are questions I like to ask everybody. So,
Yeah.
how is being at OU and being coached by guys like Brent Venables, and just having guys on the team? I know you're not coached by the defensive staff, but having guys like Miguel Chavis and uh, Todd Bates and people like that who are really trying to grow you guys, not just as football players, but just as, great men to be able to go lead in your families and lead out in the community. What has that been like for you to be able to be coached by these guys?
It's been amazing. Like I haven't been around a coach staff where like everybody has been to that next level. So it's like this is amazing, and almost our whole staff or a lot of the half the staff played at OU. So it's like it's crazy how big of like a family thing it is. So it's like it's crazy. It's amazing though that I get to get all this different advice from everybody, like from our soul mission group to position coaches. Like everything is just everybody put on next level. So it's you're not hearing nothing but advice you need to be hearing. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of the same consensus we're getting around the board, right?
Yeah,
Recruits and everybody that's here now, they're like, hey, this is just like it feels like we're a family and not
yeah.
just a football team. So,
It does for real. Like that's really what it is because all the coaches, half the coaches played here, so like they are dedicated to being a Sooner, and they're showing that to us, to make us dedicated to be a Sooner. So it's just great.
yeah, yeah. So, well, what is something that you want to say to Sooner Nation before we let you go?
Uh, just be ready. I think we'll have one of the best running back rooms in the country. Uh, I see a lot of people not mentioning Marcus. Hey, Marcus is a great back. He's going to do great things this year. Uh, but other than that, yeah, we're gonna be a great. Freshmen are great. Transfer, we got it. We gonna be great. Running back room gonna be great this year. Offense, the whole team's gonna be great, but the running back room is gonna be something that people don't expect.
Yeah, no, people need to watch Marcus Major, and he's had a lot of bad luck here at OU, and so that's why I think people are kind of off on him a little bit. But Marcus Major is going to be something to be watching
Yeah,
this season.
for
So
sure,
yeah,
most
all
definitely.
right, hey. Yeah, well, hey, I thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it,
No
and we are
problem.
really excited to see what you can do this season.
Yeah, I can't wait.